Hello guys, welcome back and happy new year to you, because this is my first video of the year 2026 and we are going to be looking at the Bitcoin market. We're going to be analyzing the market to know the direction of price, where price is at and where price will be heading to. So now let's start by looking at the overall direction. On the daily time frame, we see that price has been going bearish for quite some time, because here we see price is making higher high, higher low, and we see a bearish market. So that tells us that the market is bearish. But most important thing I want you to notice is that to every expansion, you'll be expecting either reversals or consolidation. And that is why we have the uptrend, downtrend, and also consolidation. Here we see price is consolidating because price expand bearish and entered into consolidation. So for us to have the picture, the overall picture of what we need to do in the market, we need to start from the higher time frame, and basically we need to start from the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we have this reference point, which is the fair value gap. And if you have been following me for quite some time, you know that I so much trade the market from the fair value gap and also the swing point, that is old low or old high. Now here we have the fair value gap, and we see price entered into the fair value gap. Also, I'm going to be comparing the Bitcoin and also the interior market, basically to identify smart money technique, that is SMT. And now we see price has entered into the fair value gap on the weekly, creating an SMT divergence with the Ethereum, that is leaving us with SMT divergence. Most important thing to also note is that we have price create a swing in the weekly time frame. How is it a swing? We see this high, and then we see a candle on the left, and then a candle on the right, with this high being maintained. Now, price that created the high, that is the candlestick that created the high, closed inside the previous range. And also we can see price is having a potential of having a candle closure below the second candle of the swing high. That is after price has entered into the fair value gap. So now this price is telling us that market is likely to continue bearish after this long consolidation. So price is likely to go bearish, that is continue bearish to take out this low. So our draw on liquidity is this low. And most importantly, how do you identify a draw on liquidity is, one, by identifying trend line liquidity. If you look at this, this is a trend line. So price has created liquidity here, and price will be tapping into this. Now, after this liquidity, we have another liquidity, which is at this level. We have price also is likely to come and take liquidity below this level. Why? Because we see this trend line here, this bullish trend line. Market has been buying for quite some time before turning into bearish. And where is the origin of this buy is this low. So there is what? Stop losses here. And we call it pool of liquidity. So price is likely to come here after attacking this low. So let me go into the Ethereum to show you the SMT. So we come into the Ethereum market. We will see that we have an SMT divergence, even though we don't have a fair value gap in this market, but most importantly, there's SMT here. If you don't know how to get SMT, you should look out for SMT video in my channel. You will see it. So this is an SMT, and also we have a swing high created because the second candle here has sweep liquidity and close inside range, and we see a large candle. Now, there is one thing also you have to understand is that price has taken out these lows here, but on Bitcoin, price hasn't taken this low. So you can also target this low to as your point of interest. That is draw on liquidity before this area. Here we also see potential price closure. Now, I want you to look at this. Whenever you have this swing high created and the third candle give you an expansion range, what you need to do is to mark the equilibrium. But we are not going to be marking the equilibrium on the Ethereum because all we need to see is the SMT divergence. So let's go back to the Bitcoin. So if you go back to Bitcoin, you will see that price hasn't taken out this low. So this will be also our first target to take out this low, while Ethereum has taken out this low. So like I've said, you need to mark the equilibrium range of the candle. Right now, the weekly candle hasn't closed, but for the sake of this video, I'll mark the equilibrium. The equilibrium is here, and we'll be looking for fair value gap below or at the 50% of the candle range. That's the weekly candle range, by going down to daily time frame to look out for that. And if you look at on the daily time frame, price has created a fair value gap. The same thing on the weekly time frame. Price created this fair value gap, and after price created this fair value gap, we see price coming into the fair value gap, which is what? Which is at the equilibrium, which is 50% of the range, weekly range. And also we see an SMT divergence at this range. So we can remove this 50% range to see our price clearly. Now we see here that we have price creating a swing because we see this high, and price entered into the fair value gap close below the previous candle range. And what will we be doing? We'll be marking the wick of the candle to expect price to hold at the what? At the 50% level. So we'll be looking out for fair value gap at this range for price to hold. Remember, this is daily time frame. So you can go to your 4 hours time frame and look out for fair value gap at the 50%. So if you look at it, we don't have a fair value gap here, but right now we see a small fair value gap at this level on the 4 hours time frame. So what are we expecting? Overall, we're expecting the price should what? Should come to this level and then boom to this level. So our first target will be what? Will be here. Then after that, we'll be expecting price to come to this level. So now on Monday, I will do a follow-up video on this because right now we don't have a confirmation for us to sell. But if I should sell this market from the 4 hours time frame, because price hasn't given us a fair value gap here, we can go back to 1 hour time frame and look for a fair value gap, and we can see that we have a fair value gap at this level. We have a fair value gap here. Remember, we also have an SMT divergence on Bitcoin with the Ethereum on the daily time frame. So here we see that price has created some form of higher high here. This is the SMT, while on Ethereum, on the daily, you see that price has created some form of lower low and without going into the fair value gap. So price might not likely go to the fair value gap before price will come to this point of interest here and here. So guys, this is what I have on Bitcoin, and kindly follow this channel if you like what I'm doing here, and also if you find this video valuable. Bye.